The most important photographs taken during the Apollo missions were of the moon, right? Well, not according to one astronaut, but more about that later. Here's my top 10 photographs of the Earth taken by the Apollo astronauts. Keep watching until the end and see if you agree with my number one choice. In 10th place, those damn Himalayas. There are many beautiful photographs taken of the Earth during Apollo 7. This image of the Himalayas, showing Mount Everest rising above all else, is one spectacular example. To conquer this mountain takes days of Herculean effort, and yet here we have the tallest mountain on the planet, lost amongst the other peaks of the Himalayan mountain range. Despite these kind of views, astronaut Walt Cunningham found himself becoming jaded by the experience of being confined to the small cabin of an Apollo spacecraft during Apollo 7. To compound this, he discovered that the view out of the window soon began to lose its initial wow factor. Cunningham would later write, "By the fourth day, the romance was really over. As we slowly tumbled around our orbit, the window on my side of the spacecraft was pointing towards the Earth. Wally, trying to decide whether to push his nose against the window, asked, 'What can you see?' Without thinking, I responded casually, 'It's just those damn Himalayas.' Many years later, I wish I had that view just one more time instead of the few pictures we took to remember that grand sight." In 9th place, the world in my window. When we look at an image like this of the Earth in space, it is easy to think that it's just hanging there. In fact, it's falling around the Sun at over 66,500 miles per hour, or 18.5 miles a second. Just as the Earth is falling around the Sun, the Apollo spacecraft was falling away from the Earth when this photograph was taken during the translunar coast. Michael Collins reported back to the people back on Earth in Mission Control, "I've got the world in my window." Years later, Collins would reflect,
"The thing I remember most is the view of planet Earth from a great distance. Tiny, very shiny, blue and white, bright, beautiful, serene, and fragile."
In 8th place, leaving home. This is a beautiful image of North America, taken by the crew of Apollo 16 as they sped away from the Earth. Ken Mattingly, the command module pilot, described the view for the ground.
See the reds in the desert down there in the southern United States and northern part of Mexico. And from here you can see the Great Lakes and the state of Florida out there. And it's just absolutely something.
It didn't take long for the moon-bound astronauts to notice how quickly they were departing from their home planet, and it was to this backdrop of a rapidly receding Earth that the crew performed the maneuver to extract the lunar module from the top of the Saturn V's third stage. In this image, you can see some paint particles that had peeled off the lunar module at top right. I have added the lunar module in the middle of this debris to give an impression of what the transposition and docking maneuver would look like. In 7th place, Eclipse. With the lunar part of their mission behind them, the crew of Apollo 12 turned their attention to the Sun. As they travelled back to the Earth, the crew got to witness the Earth moving in front of the Sun, causing a solar eclipse. In this image, the Earth appears as just a slim crescent as the Sun illuminates the side of the planet facing away from the crew. In 6th place, the orange planet. When we think of the Earth, we tend to think of the blue planet. And when seen from a distance, it does appear to be predominantly blue because of the amount of the planet covered by water. The Earth orbital missions of Apollo 7 and Apollo 9 captured the planet in all of its glory, and up close it is noticeable that large parts of the land masses are covered in desert. I have chosen this particular image of the Sahara Desert in Mauritania because of its aesthetics. It wouldn't look out of place on the wall of an art gallery. In 5th place, looking back home from a foreign shore. Standing on the moon's surface, astronaut Gene Cernan took a moment to look back at the Earth and captured several images of his own planet, seemingly suspended in the black vacuum of space. If you've ever taken a photo of the moon, you may have noticed that, unless you have a zoom lens like this attached, the moon appears to be smaller in the photo than it does in real life. This shows the scale of the two worlds, and so to demonstrate what the Earth would have looked like, I have increased the size in this interpretation, maybe making home seem just that little bit closer. In fourth place, a distant home. I have chosen this image not so much because of the aesthetics of the Earth, but because of what its appearance would have meant to the 3 crew members of Apollo 13 at that particular moment.
Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here.
Can say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem.
Following the rupturing of the oxygen tank and the subsequent damage it caused, the crew were heading away from the Earth, cramped in the lunar module, in a very dire situation.
It looks to me, looking out the hatch, that we are venting something.
Crew thinks they're venting something.
We are venting something out into space.
At the time that this photo was taken through the lunar module's window, they would have had time for their predicament to sink in. It must have been a sobering sight to see their home planet receding into the distance, with many miles of uncertainty still ahead of them. In third place, Terra Australis. The next photo comes from the Apollo 17 mission and shows the continent of Australia. Jack Smith said of this view, "Just a couple more words about Australia. As a general landmass, it's red. Very strong red hues except for the north and eastern coasts, where that red gradually merges into a greenish grey." If we put an image of the moon next to this image of the Earth, we can see the comparison between the two. One is full of colour, representing all that embodies life, while the other is just a sun-scorched, uninviting, lifeless rock in space. In second place, Sunburst over Florida. The photo I have chosen in second place is this image of Florida, taken by Walt Cunningham. This is just one of several images taken of this view. This image shows the lakes of Florida beautifully illuminated by sunlight, while this one captures the astronauts' home port of the Kennedy Space Center. Zooming in closer, we can pinpoint Launch Complex 34, where the crew had launched from, Pad 39A, where the moon flights were launched from, and the vertical assembly building. I had the opportunity to talk to Walt Cunningham about this photo, and when I asked him if he had taken it, he said that he sure had. The signed copy of this image is one of my favourites in my autograph collection. Just before I reveal my number 1 photo, if you are enjoying this video, I would love it if you hit the like button. And in first place, we have Earthrise. There could only be one photograph to occupy first place in this countdown. This glorious Earth greeting the crew of Apollo 8 as they came from behind the far side of the moon.
Oh my God, look at that picture over there. There's the Earth coming up. Wow, is that pretty? Hey, don't take that, I'm scheduled. Get a color film, Jim? Hand me a roll of color quick. Oh man, that's great.
There are 2 schools of thought on how an Earthrise image should be orientated. I will defer to what the man who took the photo says. Astronaut William Anders said, "That picture was printed as a traditional sunrise, with a flat horizon. To me though, having come from the side, always thought the side of the moon was more vertical, and the Earth was at the side like that. So I hanged the picture in that manner." Whereas the vast quantity of photographs of the moon excited the scientists, for astronaut William Anders, the most important photographs were of the Earth. He stated that, "We came all this way to explore the moon, and the most important thing is, we discovered the Earth." So those are my favourite photos of the Earth from the Apollo missions. Let me know what yours are in the comments below, and thanks for watching.